guys look at the right hand side here, you can see our newest babies. These guys are about 3 weeks old. Right there on the right.
I think I'm good.
Now you can see the difference. These guys get big pretty quickly. But if you look behind them, you can see that we have a few alligators back there. And it looks like we got a couple ducks.
Where are the ducks?
Now, if you guys look towards the front of the boat, right-hand side, on this down tree, you see 2 birds over here with their wings open.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody here know why their wings are open?
To get bigger?
Pretty close. If you look at them, all they're doing right now is letting you know how big the last fish they caught was. It's not really big, but... No, you guys are right. They are drying off. They are phenomenal water birds, but they lack the necessary oils to stay water.
Look at the birdies. Yep.
Now, it looks like you have 2 females here. And then right next to them, you can see we got some ducklings. Those guys are a couple of weeks old. Those are wood ducks. Now, the male, he's got some very unique colors. You see he's got the red face, the green hair, the white stripes.
Yep.
But did you guys know that the male wood duck here, he's an extremely passionate lover? It's true. He knows how to take care of the ladies out here.
How do you know?
Well, not only will that duck bring the female food once she's up on the nest, he'll also bring her flowers.
Aww.
Yeah, when's the last time you ladies got some flowers? Just kidding, guys. I can tell you the shivery that duck guy's there. As soon as that first egg cracks open, Daddy will be long gone. Now, guys, this area we're now coming into, this is what we call the Springs of Life. And there are 28 springs back here.
Oh, my.
Now, most of them, they're pretty small. And unfortunately, about a quarter or so, they've stopped producing water. We are in desperate need for water right now. Every day in this general area, we're losing 50 million gallons of it. Now, the reason we lose so much water is we have about 3,600 people that move to the state of Florida every single week. On top of that, we now lose 120 acres to new development every single day. Marion County, this is the second fastest growing county in Florida, but she's made it to the top 10 for the U.S. a few times over the last 10 months. The more people tap into this aquifer for well water and irrigation, that is where the water disappears to. Now, if you check out the shoreline here on the right-hand side, it really doesn't look too bad. It's looking pretty healthy. You're seeing a wide variety of vegetation, as well as wildlife scattered throughout it. But if you look at these tree trunks here, you're going to see some high water marks. And guys, that's where the water level should be. Today, we are 3.5 feet shy of normal. If we lose just 4 more inches of water, we're going to suspend the boat operations here in the park. Now, that has never happened here in the last 150 years. Normally, we would not be worried. Our rainy season, it started last month, where we got 1 inch of rain. This month, we're doing a little bit better, but as of right now, we need 33 inches just to get us out of drought. And they've upped our drought in this area from the worst drought in 25 years to now the worst drought in recorded history for this park. We're hurt pretty bad. There is a very good chance that the captains here are going to go on an early summer vacation due to this. I'm not going to lie, I'm very sad about this, but I will be sad down in St. Croix. If anybody would like to be sad down in St. Croix with me, we'll be chasing tarpon and permit down there, waiting for the water up here to rise. But this spring here beneath us, she might not look like much today, but she is one of the largest in the world. This is Blue Grotto. She is a first magnitude spring. Now, you can see the first magnitude, we must pump over 64 million gallons of water out every single day. This one, a max output, can reach upwards to 80. Now, all this water, this comes from the Florida aquifer, and that's traveled throughout the state of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, as well as parts of Alabama. They say it takes about 20 years for the rain to touch the soil in the Carolinas before it comes to this vent here beneath us. Our local rain, it does help. We got a pretty large watershed. It travels throughout Gainesville, Ocala, and Leesburg. But as of today, only about 6 to 8% will actually manage its way into our aquifer. The rest of that rainwater, hopefully here soon, will start dictating water levels here and around the park. So guys, as I finish up my spin here, anybody have any questions about the water or the springs here on the Silver River? No? Now, there is a company called Silver Springs Bottling Company. They say they're directly tapped into us, but they're a little further away from us. But they're the ones who make Winn-Dixie water. So they are in the neighborhood. Any other questions? All right. So guys, as we leave here, front of the boat, just to the left-hand side, all those red flowers coming to view there, those are called cardinals. Pretty easy to remember. Red flowers, red birds. Now in front of us, those white flowers, those are elderberry. And you're going to start to see some purple flowers poking up from underneath them. And that is your tongue twister of the day. That's called a purple prickle flower.
Purple prickle flower. Purple prickle flower. Purple prickle flower.
The turtle.
But as you look at the
Oh,
trees
turtle.
here, every tree at the park, you will notice this gray material that hangs off our branches. Does anybody know what that's called?
Spanish moss.
Yep, Spanish moss. Now, a few fun facts about our Spanish moss is one, it is not Spanish. Not even a little bit. Secondly, I'm sure you already guessed it, it's not even moss. It is an air plant and its closest relative, that's going to be a pineapple.
Pineapple.
Does anybody here have a pineapple plant at home?
No.
No? So they say if you take that Spanish moss, you stuff it in between the leaves of your pineapple plant, it's going to change the hormones of that plant, and you can produce fruit more frequent. As long as you keep that moss moist, it's going to shorten the dormant season, as well if you have an issues of plant, it's going to jumpstart its cycle. Now, does anybody here drive a Ford? You raise your hand, not here to make fun of you guys. Alright. So Henry Ford, that man fell in love with Spanish moss. He used that stuff to stuff the seats of his Model T. Now, for those of you guys here who have not had the privilege of playing with Spanish moss, you will find a bug that was inside there. They're called red bugs or chiggers. Now, those guys, they made their way into the seat cushions and they started the very first automotive recall in U.S. history. General Motors, they had a field day. They called it the new Ford Itch. And they ran that slogan from the early 30s all the way into the late 40s.
Wow.
But guys, as we drift back here, anybody who want to see a shipwreck?
Sure.
Not this shipwreck, just a shipwreck.
No, yeah. Not ours.
But as we spin the boat here, beneath the boat, I'm looking for a smaller boat. Now, this is actually the first ever glass bottom boat from 1860. Now, don't worry, I was not driving that boat.
And a turtle floating around. Woo.
Oh yeah, lots of turtles down there. But back in 1860, we had the two teams out here. They removed a few pieces of wood from the rowboat that had a small piece of glass, and they were charging people a nickel to be rowed up and down the river here. So as you guys can tell, inflation has been quite a long ways.
Yeah.
For those two kids, they started all in 1872. We officially became a park. In 1878, these glass bottom boats became commercialized, and we've been here ever since. But guys, as I spin the boat here to show off this boat beneath us, anybody have any questions about the park, its wildlife, the vessels? Maybe something we haven't seen today.
Now I get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Wow.
Everybody get a good look at the boat down there?
Yeah.
All right. You see the little boat? Right underneath the tree.
That's the edge of the boat.
The edge right there.
Well, over 150 years of it.
That's the edge of the boat.
That was the original glass bottom boat. Probably at least one or two. Yeah, not much of a run. Exactly. Now we actually have a diver on our team here. She's got a very cool camera rig which allows her to do 3D scans. Our goal here is in the next 2 to 3 years we'd like to recreate that boat, turn it into more of a gondola ride. I'm hearing rumors we're going to have things like wine and cheese, so we'll see what happens. Oh yeah. Now our next stop is going to be our Twin Oaks Mansion. Anybody here get a chance to enjoy our concerts? No? So we had a little bit of everybody here. We had Jimi Hendrix, we had Willie Nelson, Kenny Loggins, the Styx, the Beach Boys, Travis Tritt, Shania Twain, Joan Jett. We had Kansas, Boston, Whitesnake, even Blue Oyster Cult's out here. And my favorite was we had Jeff Foxx out here doing comedy shows. Now if you start to look at the right-hand side, through those trees across the field, that large white building in the back, that is our Twin Oaks Mansion. But when the state took over in 2012, they got rid of our concerts. They did not want the liability associated with it. But they made an exception last year for Wood Warriors. We hosted one private concert. We raised over $280,000 in one evening. The state and their little conservation money after the game, they have decided to bring concerts back. Months ago for Spring Fest was the first time having live music in the park open to the public in about 20 years. We had 4 bands playing throughout the park and they went extremely well. Otter, front of the boat, otters. We got 2 otters directly in front of the boat. Come right at us. Come up left hand side, otters. Otters on the left, otters on the left. Right behind you. Come up towards the 10 o'clock.
You're gonna go next to the boat or away from the boat?
Get up behind the boat. Go behind us. We call those guys river ninjas. As soon as you see them, they usually disappear. I'm glad a few of you guys got to see that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah. Now we have about 5 that live up here towards the head spring. They did have a baby out here. She's running around now. We're very excited to have her here. But unfortunately, when the state took over, they got rid of all the zoo animals. We weren't allowed to keep anything in captivity here. What's that?
What does it look like?
What?
I can't even see it.
Oh, the otter already went by. Yeah, he's still coming up behind us. He's way back there. He's really the only thing out here that actually eats those blue tilapia. The otters here, that's the only animals that actually eat the tilapia. So, the big blue ones, yeah. Now, we have a lot of invasive species here, not just those blue tilapia, although we are very excited to have those in the restaurant here soon. We also have a few different kinds of catfish. We have the Placo or Picossamus, everyone gets from Mr. Pet Mannequin, the fish tanks or ponds. Those are out here. We have an armored catfish from Amazon, as well as a red-tailed catfish. And as of right now, we do have pacus out here, which are related to the piranhas. You got a question, sir? So the manatees are only here from about November to April. The best time to see them is going to be January and February. If you time the day after a cold front, we'll have about 10 to 15 manatees on each one of the springs we've seen so far.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
They're only from November to April.
No, it doesn't eat people. They like to eat like things like fruits, nuts, as well as vegetation. But they can eat some smaller invertebrates, mice, insects, things like that. Now the boats in the park, we have been electric since 1935. Our last boat we converted back in 1940. And today I have 16 lead-acid batteries on this boat. Each one weighs about 250 pounds. So we are able to switch to lithium ion here later on this summer. It should light up these boats a lot and give us a little extra horsepower. Right now we are at max speed, going against a 4-mile-per-hour current. If we happen to get a 4-mile-per-hour headwind, this boat goes nowhere quick. But did you guys see that big boat while waiting? The Chief Pataki Betty Mae Tiger Jumper. So she is the newest boat to our fleet. She's about 4 years old. She's handicap accessible. We can do wheelchairs, hospital beds, even those do off-roading wheelchairs. The tank tracks on the side. But she is now operating off 4 giant Tesla batteries. The ones you'd place in your garage and your house off of. So hopefully sometime soon we'll get something similar. Now coming up on the right-hand side, 2 o'clock. That statue, that is Chief Osceola. Now Osceola was a local native here who served as a translator between the Seminoles and federal government. After the First Seminole War, our government showed up with a bogus peace treaty. They said they wanted peace, they are stopping their expansion west, and they're open to trade. But when translated, it said quite the opposite. It said the natives here would forfeit all rights to the land. They'd agree to hike this trail from here all the way to Oklahoma and live the rest of the days on the reservation. Obviously, the chief was very upset, and he sends Osceola out with a very clear message. If we look over that statue, you guys can see exactly what made him famous. Osceola, who returns the treaty, he lays it out, he pulls out his knife, and he stabs that treaty, therefore killing the contract. To this date, the Seminoles, they have not signed any treaties or contracts with the federal government. Legally, still at war today. But guys, right-hand side here, you guys see that brown bird from the shoreline? That's probably the coolest bird no one's ever heard of. Anybody know what kind of bird that is?
No,
So it's called a limpkin.
I don't see it.
Now, what makes him famous, he's got a very unique call. It's the loudest bird call in the state of Florida. And since the 30s, he's been used in about 48 different movies. Do we have any Harry Potter fans here? So the hippogriff, that half horse, half eagle creature, is that brown bird there on the right.
That's what I thought he said too.
Now for the kids, anybody here watch the Incredibles movies? Mr. Incredible fights the robot in the jungle, it's that brown bird right there.
Where? I don't see
Now,
the brown
for the
bird.
adults, anybody here watch, let's see, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark? The spooky
there.
noise coming from the cavern, that's also that brown bird. But more recently,
there he
you've
is.
probably
There's the
seen
brown
a movie
bird.
called Up. Disney,
That's the
Kevin.
loudest bird.
Yeah, so 95% of the time Kevin's actually a peacock. But as soon as they find out Kevin's a girl, start swinging that bird right there. Now that white bird that landed next to it, I'm sure you guys get those in your yard after it rains. It's called an ibis. Although it will make a mess of your driveway, it's a very good bird to keep around. They're gonna eat a lot of bugs for you. Now, our final spring of the day is called Mammoth. She is our head spring, and she is producing about 2/3 of the water flow here. Now, she's going to be the deepest part of the river at 55 feet deep. She's our largest spring at 65 feet wide and 5.5 feet tall. And at max output, she can reach upwards to 550 million gallons of water produced in a single day. Guys, that is enough water to fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool once every 45 seconds. Now, all the springs combined, we have 200 on the Silver River. It only takes 6 days for the water to leave here and into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, it's going to travel down the Silver River to the Ocala. It's going to travel up the Ocala to the St. Johns River. From there, it's going to continue running north to Jackson, out into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, the St. Johns and the Ocala, they're one of the few rivers in the world that run south to north. Does anybody here know why that happens? It's because Georgia sucks. Oh yeah, shots fired. Now guys, I asked each and every one of you guys where you're from, and nobody here said Georgia. But it is not against the good people of Georgia, it's strictly against those Bulldogs. But if you do find yourself on Jeopardy, the reason all this water does end up running north, it's actually only due to about 33 feet of elevation. That's it, that's all it takes. Here in Florida, we are extremely flat. Yes, sir.
We need a boob job.
Yeah, you want to see him?
Yeah.
All right, that's our next stop.
Okay.
So guys, before we leave here, if you look straight down to the bottom, that cave you're seeing, it might look familiar to you. Back in the day, they used this cave to hide a nuclear torpedo.
What?
Yeah, it's probably the craziest thing that happened here. Eventually, the state sent Sean Connery down there to go fish out for us. James Bond, Thunderball, right down there. Now, we didn't have Moonraker and Never Say Never filmed here.
Never say never filmed here.
No.
Look at that
So
cave.
there's a scene where James fights a giant green anaconda. And that anaconda comes out of the bushes here, pulls it back about by our boat dock. A lot of people thought that snake was fake, but she was very real. She lived here for over 20 years. Part of the Ron Silent Reptile exhibit. We used to have all kinds of exotic reptiles at the park. We used to do alligator and crocodile wrestling right here at the head spring. And during World War II, we ended up producing over 80% of the enzyme venom making its way to the Pacific Theater. Oh yeah, so we have about 500 monkeys here. Now nothing keeps them here at the park. They've been seen as far south as DeLand and Sanford, far north as Gainesville. On the east coast, they've been seen from Port Orange all the way up to St. Augustine. Now I will warn you, if you do bump into our monkeys today, or worse, if our monkeys decide to bump into you, I need you to do me a favor. I need you guys to keep your distance. They're not that cute, they're not that cuddly. These guys have phenomenal aim, and you do not want to know what they're throwing at you. Yeah. Smells horrid. Now, smiling, that's a big no-no. Alpha monkeys, they will take that as a threat. So if you are one that tends to smile a lot, you might want to consider walking behind your friends and family if you go explore our trails. But guys, beneath us, we got 3 statues for you here. This is Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Now these guys have been down there since 1969 for the I-Spy series with Bill Cosby and Robert Culp. Now we used to have 12. These guys made up the lost city of Atlantis. We got to keep these 3. They're also using Moonraker, as well as Never Say Never James Bond. Now, they're 7 feet tall. They weigh about 300 pounds. And with our water levels today, they're only sitting in 34 feet of water. If anybody here would like to jump off the boat to get a selfie, this is your chance.
I should do it.
Now, I am going to warn you, the park rangers here, they do not share that same sense of humor. Not even a little bit. So if you'd like to get a selfie without getting wet, you can find one at our Discovery Center, as well as one of the original costumes, the creature of the Black Lagoon. Now, today, we have a very special guest inside our Discovery Center. We have Captain Oscar Collins. He's been running boats here for well over 56 years. That man was my captain here on my 2nd grade field trip. Now, if you guys are looking to learn more about the park, we can really read a book or a magazine. That is the man you want to speak to. In all honesty, he's probably forgotten more about this park than I will ever retain. But guys, as I finish my spin here, does anybody have any final questions for me?
If you wanted that, this would be like. I need one.
All right. Did everybody get a good look at the statues down there? All right. Guys, unfortunately, this does conclude our tour of the springs. I appreciate y'all coming out and hanging out with me for a little bit. But a few things before I crash this boat into that dock over there. And guys, I do mean crash. Wasn't very upfront with you. I am the captain, but guys, I'm a very new one. There will be a bump. I would take this time to gather up your loved ones and belongings. Anything that is left in the vessel after collision is going to be sold back to you for twice what you paid for it. Now, if you enjoyed your time on the water and you would like to participate in the oldest tradition along the Silver River, since roughly 1880, that glass you've been looking through, it's also been known as the world's largest tip jar. If you'd like to leave a gratuity to the captain or my amazing crew I have running the dock today, you are more than welcome over there at the glass. If anybody here happens to do reviews, go easy. Like I said, my name is Captain Reed. But guys, if this is the worst thing you've done all week and I did not live up to your expectations,